Okay, on this video, I'll be showing you guys how to draw your support and resistance levels. Keep in mind, support means when a market finds a certain floor that it tries to respect. That's very important to actually identifying market structure and so on, and knowing when the market has found a floor, so you could look for some sort of counter trend to some extent. And resistance, which is like a ceiling for when a market, it finds a high price that it wants to actually test and respect. Really important to market structure as well. So when you do come onto market structure for the next video, actually the next section, actually phase two, you'll see that only on higher high points, higher low points, lower high points, and lower low points, you're going to be seeing tested candles along these areas. Okay, and this method right here is going to definitely help you out onto spotting where the market is going to be, finding some sort of indecision. Okay, so I have three situations right here: the touch, which is when it does this right here; the gap, it looks like this; and the overlap, which looks like this. All this is done on a line chart like this. Okay, and I'll be showing you guys a few examples and running through the entire chart. Okay, and we're only doing this based off of only only daily and H4. Okay, only daily and H4 period. So let's start on the daily time frame. Everybody just take some time to copy this down before I erase it real quick. 1, 2, 3. All right, so let's start on a daily time frame. So for these right here, make sure your horizontal lines are going to be red. So these are the lines that we're going to be plotting on this entire area for the daily time frame. Once we actually have a situation that we actually did a 1, 2, or 3, which was the gap, touch, or the overlap. So start from the top of my market itself. All right, and I'm looking for one of three situations. So this right here is one situation that I found over here, and you can look across the whole entire price scale to see like where the market is going to be doing one of three situations. So this right here is a situation one, which was the touch. As you can see, the touch right there, touch right there. It acted as support and acted as resistance. When you see something like this, where is it? This, if it hits like this and only on one side, then that is invalid. That's invalid. Invalid, invalid. It has to act on both sides as support and resistance, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter, honestly, but as long as it hits both sides to make it be considered as an indecision level. Oh, but I get a little messy. Okay, so that's our first one. Then we continue from where we left off from. Start scrolling down again. So this right here could be considered as an overlap. here, and here. Okay. This right here is considered as a gap here and here. Continue. You're looking from left to right, like use your eyes and just scan the entire line that you're currently on. I like to keep my crosshair tool a little bit dark so I see the actual line before I actually plot it. Okay, and this is how these areas look on the actual candlesticks. You'll see that indecision, tested, 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 tested candles, and you're seeing these areas all over the place. Once you actually do them correctly, it'll give you like a really, really, really precise level of support and level of resistance. That's another line, and look at how it looks on candlesticks. Once again, support, tested, tested, along those entire areas. And you can do this throughout your entire chart if you want to also, or just like in like a nice price range, like 1,000, 2,000 pip range, just so you know you cover a good amount of area at least. Or a lot more than that actually. It's going to be probably like about 5,000, 10,000 pip range. Just like a real nice big zone, okay? So once we get back on the daily chart, I mean the H4 chart actually, H4 chart is going to be the same concept, but it's going to be a lot more details that you're going to be seeing on this time frame than the other time frame to actually plot your indecision levels. On this one, it's going to be a dark green line like that. Don't use this line, okay? That's incorrect. Use a dark green line. And we're doing the same concept starting from the top, but we don't have to zoom all the way out like how we did last time because we just want to see where is the market now, and we want to see these fluctuations. That's what we want to see. So as I start scrolling down, start from the top once again, start scrolling down and start looking for major areas of indecision. So this one right here was one, I could probably spot like a gap, 1, 2, that little spike down right there, that little spike up right there. Candlesticks, you'll see those areas was respected to some extent. So definitely an area of indecision itself. And you only want to plot 1, 2, max 3 areas of support and resistance when it comes to this time frame. Okay, so 1, 2, max 3 areas. So continue from where I left off from again and start scrolling once again. This right here is another situation. I have a gap situation right here, 1, 2, this spike down, this spike up. And then I could plot probably one more before I'm done and I'm maxed out of my lines. That's one right there. It's a gap, 1, 2. I can use that also. This is how it looks on back on candlesticks. So you'll see a bit of an indecision area when the market does come close to these areas. You're going to see tested candles. You're going to see candles that kind of consolidate. You know, so you see the market when it tries to slow down in price itself. Now down here, this zone, scrolling down slowly, scrolling down slowly. It's a gap, 1, 2. That's a gap. So there's overlap, 1, 2, and try to make everything even. It has to be overlapped the same length over on each part of the line. And probably get one more out of here. Another gap right there, 1, 2. Okay. A lot of times when the market is kind of far away from those areas, like how it is on the gaps, like all right here, All right here is literally wicks because the line chart only measures closed prices itself. So you could possibly see a wick on those areas that you have gaps. That's another one. Situation 1, 2, a direct touch. Continue again. So this one right was pretty good. It had a touch right there, it had a touch right there, and also had a gap, which was right here and right here. So it definitely counts as a level of indecision also. And yeah, line chart on this line. Okay, you see the touch right there, you see the gaps. So the market itself found indecision when it came to this zone right here. It kind of gets a little stagnant for a while, tested areas. You're going to see all this when you actually have these areas on your chart. And 3, I have a gap right there. 1, 2. The most accurate one that you can actually draw is going to be the situation ones are the ones that actually touch. Okay, the touch is the most accurate one that you can draw out of all of them. The gap and overlap, you have to actually put on the median areas to make sure everything's even on both sides to make it, super valid. Let me just do one more. The market is literally on one of these zones right now. At a gap, 1, 2, okay, and you possibly get a touch also, which was right here, this touch, and on the upside, this touch. So that counts as definitely an indecision level itself. One, two candlesticks. That's how you see. You see a break of support, that retest, which forms a new lower high point, and then drop again. Pure resistance, break of support. So you having these areas on your chart is definitely going to help you out to actually, spot setups, spot where the market can find levels of support, levels of resistance, the momentum change. And this is the one area also on the higher time frame that we actually plotted. The market, is finding some sort of support there also. So I mean, is definitely going to be a major factor when it comes down to plotting these correctly, because if you plot these correctly, you're spotting possible setups every single day. It might not be long term or it could be short term at times, but it could definitely give you setups every single day if you're plotting these correctly. And you could definitely leave these on your charts for a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, and they're still all valid. Mainly because you're basing them off of a higher time frame itself. Okay, and unlike the old videos, I don't do H1 anymore, mainly because H1 is a bit too noisy at times. You can still use it for analyzing, yes, but I use the random line, which is going to be a random blue trend line that I can just plot in random ass places that I just come across when I'm in the market. Like let's say if I was on this uptrend right here, and I see a point of resistance or a point of support that the market might actually create that I never had plotted before, I could just use my random line and just say, okay, that was probably support, or the market was testing along these areas right here. You know, you can put it on almost anything. You have like no kind of principles when you're actually doing these lines. Yeah, you can use it to draw your trend lines. You know, it's in the sell zone, buy zone. Anything that you're pretty much trying to monitor on the charts itself, you can use your random line for. Level of resistance. Call this random line. Yeah, so they could literally be used for anything. So I don't use the H1 support and resistance too much anymore, but I do use my random lines to pretty much plot areas on the H1 time frame that I do find important. So that's about it for support and resistance. And now this is support resistance 2.0. So yeah, peace out, guys.